Have you ever felt like you should explore video marketing but don't know how to get started? Today, we'll be talking about the power of digital storytelling. Hello, creatives. I'm Adrienne Lauren, the host of the Thriving Artist Masterclass. And during this expert interview series, we will be discussing how to position, package, and pitch your creative work to resonate with more buyers. Today, we have Tristan Barrocks. Tristan Barrocks is a storyteller who uses new media to communicate meaningful messages. His passion is finding the humanity in every story. Every exchange has a valuable opportunity to grow, learn, and create something authentic. So, for over 10 years, he has been committed to refining his craft as a digital storyteller. Allowing people to share their unique stories is his passion. He uses media as a tool to inspire, motivate, and change someone's perspective. His clients have spanned from as large as Apple Inc. to as small as local charities. His area of expertise is in marketing for small and mid-sized businesses. So without further ado, let's please welcome Tristan Barrocks.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Oh man, I feel the vibes. This is gonna be a fun one. Um, and I'm super excited because my background actually in entrepreneurship, the first thing I really delved into was video marketing. So
Yes.
this is gonna be a lot of fun. To kind of kick off this conversation, I've had some people in the audience. We also do have a private Facebook group, so people have been chatting in there.
Mhm.
And some of them, are starting to really form this idea of like, okay, I know I need to do content marketing. I know I
Mhm.
need to put myself out there in the digital world. Like the online space is just so like feasible right now. It's just so powerful. Um, but I don't know how to get started. I don't know, which avenue to go. I know you're a huge advocate for video, and so am I. So
Yeah.
I wanted to hear your take on like what makes video such a powerful medium when it comes to putting yourself out there in the digital space.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, Adrian, I'd just like to say thank you for having me on this amazing show. You're doing some really great work, and I hope that my little bit of pixie dust of magic will help inspire somebody that's listening today. I think the first thing with regards to creating content is like you got to figure out your why, right? You got to figure out why you're doing it and to who you're trying to service, right?
Mm,
Because I think there's a lot of people that are just kind of creating content and throwing it at the wall and hoping for the best, wishing for the best.
mm,
And although that can be an effective strategy for some, I think that it's important to understand at least why you are creating, right? So for me, I'm really focused on telling my story from my particular vantage point and perspective, as well as telling other people's stories. So language, I use language in a big way to kind of shape and sculpt the way I present myself and my story. So I present myself as the digital storyteller,
mm,
from Toronto, Canada, Tristan from Toronto, all that sort of stuff. And that's kind of like a pathway or lead in to the way I create the content. And then I think about things like, what's my personality? Am I outgoing? Am I introvert? Am I cerebral? All of those things are elements or ingredients to kind of think about before you even press record on a audio recorder or a video camera or taking pictures. Like you really need to figure out who you are, what your voice is, and then once you get to that place, then you can start thinking about the tools you want to use that will maximize your messaging and get it to your target audience. So for me, it's video, and a part of that is because video within the last 10 years has exploded, not only just on traditional platforms like film and television, but on social media. I mean, Twitter used to be a primarily text-based website, which it still is, but they stream football games and they show the Olympics, and they have you know uh, um, broadcasts of from the White House.
mhm,
You look at Instagram and Facebook and that sort of amalgamation, and pretty much they're all video platforms, right? And then we already know about YouTube. So if you're not really acknowledging the giant opportunity for creating original interactive video content,
mhm,
then you're you're missing out on an opportunity to capture a part of the market that is looking specifically for that.
Mm. Yeah, it's so true. Like, what in the last, I don't know what the time frame was, but like even Instagram was only just picture when it started.
Yeah,
And then it became like 15-minute videos. And then it became
yeah,
1 minute videos. And then now they have like stories and like
yeah.
IGTV. So it's like everything is kind of just like moving towards videos. Um, and why do you feel that is?
Well, I think there's a few reasons. Number one, I think people want to have an immersive experience, right? A photo, if a photo, you know, says 1,000 words or tells 1,000 words, then how much more will 24 frames per second tell in video, right?
Mm,
And so it's this whole idea of, I can feel a certain way by looking at a picture and an image and a
yeah,
frame of a moment, but
yeah,
then I can actually be in that moment and experience or relive those emotions through video. So it's not one is better than the other. It's just this desire
yeah.
for, the current climate is there's a desire to have an experiential sort of learning um, um, experience. I mean,
Yeah.
people, clients want to not only just see, they want to taste, they want to touch, they want to feel, they want to hear, they want to know everything they can about whatever product or service you're providing, and the more information you can provide. Vis-a-vis through photo, text, video,
Mhm.
the easier it is for me as a client to now really make those critical decisions and know and relate and come on board with your brand and whatever else you're proposing to me. So I think it's not necessarily that, sometimes people say, well, photos better or videos better, and it's not really either or. It's really both. the
Mhm.
The reality is that now our tastes are becoming more refined, in the sense of like we want more immersive experiences. The
Mhm.
second thing is that we've always had photography, right? Photography always came before video. Photography was always very accessible, and video wasn't as accessible. In
Yeah.
order, I grew up in the '80s, and to get a VHS. To record on a VHS, you would need like a giant 20-pound camera that was probably $4,000, $10,000, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and most people didn't have that dime, right? And then as video cameras and video became more accessible, to the point now it's in our smartphone, it's in our watches, it's everywhere, it's on our computers.
Mm.
Now it's something that everybody can create, and now we're used to it now because we've been providing each other so much memories and moments through this platform called video.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually so incredible. Like, I was just looking at my phone and I have like an iPhone 8, and then I just
Yeah.
realized like it can actually film like 4K, and that blew my mind. I was like,
Yeah,
"Are
yeah.
you serious right now? Like this can film 4K?" What? I was
What's
like,
going on?
my
Like,
my
literally
Canon
think
Rebel
about that.
couldn't even
Like
do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like literally there's like 3 4 years ago, to have a device that shot 4K, meaning four times the resolution of 1080p, right?
Yeah.
HD TV was ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
those the cameras that did that were 20, 30, 50, $70,000, and now we can get it for a fraction of that cost in our phones. Now, mind you, obviously quality will differ, but the principle of being able to have that technology in our pockets now is incredible.
Yeah, it's so magical. It's so powerful. I want to dig a little deeper into that, but before we go into that, there was something that you said that just really like stood out to me, and it was that idea that you were
Mhm.
talking about, like, if a photo can mean 1,000 words, like 24 frames per second, like how much more words can that really uh portray?
Yeah. Yep.
And when you said that, like, I was just thinking about, holy snaps, like that is so powerful. Like, if you really think about it, because now it's like people are able to digest so much information about who you are in such a small amount of time.
Mhm.
And with
Mhm.
the way things are going now, like, people are always saying, oh, people don't have an attention span anymore. And it's like, I mean, you agree or not, like, there's some truth to that. Like,
Yeah.
watch times are going down and whatever. Um, and it's such a powerful medium, like, I just wanted to, like, say that because I was thinking about that, and I thought that was really cool. It's just
Well,
so
just to kinda add
digestible.
to that,
Yeah.
like yeah, and I think as much as watch times are going down, right? People do have shorter attention spans. I think ultimately we don't have shorter attention spans. We just are way more selective at what we want to give our attention to. So you have to, because we're bombarded with so much stuff and so much marketing, you have to earn the right by producing quality and valuable information or content.
Mhm.
You have to earn the right for our
Yeah.
attention. So for instance, obviously we go to the movies, we sit down for 2 hours and watch a movie. Our
Yeah, no
attention span
problem. We're
isn't
like, "Yeah,
isn't
we're there."
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Our attention span isn't
I
30
just watched
seconds there.
Spider-Man the other day. I was like, "Holy,
Exactly. It was great. That
oh
was Into the
my
Spideyverse was
Into
amazing.
the Spider." Yeah, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good." And
It
then I
was
even
so
stayed
good.
after the credits because there was
Yeah,
more stuff that came after,
extra
so it's
stuff.
exactly, you're
And
right.
and you know what I
It's the
mean? So
value of
you look at all that, right? Even if it's watching a documentary or watching a TV show or whatever else, we have an appetite for good content. So as long as you're creating good content, people will stay and they'll find you. But the
mm,
thing is that the attention span is, I think the shortening of watch time and attention span is really towards crap, right? Because we're throwing a lot of
mm,
stuff that's just not quality, right? So why should you earn the trust of our attention when you're not putting in enough attention to detail for producing what you want us to watch? So
yeah.
I think that is more of what it is than people's attention span. I think that's kind of like we put attention into specific things that we really care about.
Gotcha, gotcha. And so what would be like the recipe of like so from my understanding, and let me know if I'm like taking this in
Hmm.
not correctly, but
Hmm.
listening to you, I just feel like a really strong ingredient to making that great quality stuff is a great quality story. Yeah?
Yes, yes.
So
Story. I
what
have. Oh,
okay.
sorry. Go ahead. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. Oh, no, we're so
Sorry. I just so
Canadian. Look at us. "No,
uh,
you go. No, you go." I was just having a conversation with a
eh?
friend about this. We're like, "Oh my gosh, only Canadians would be like, 'No, like, you go.'" And I'm like, "No, I'm the pedestrian. I'm walking. Like,
It's so
no."
true.
Um, so Canadian. So what was I saying? So the question that I was gonna go into was like, what are like the key recipe ingredient pieces, I guess, to a great story? But then I'm
Yeah.
also now
Uh,
really curious where you wanted to go with that. So
well, the thing I was gonna say was just this. I have a mantra. My mantra is story over everything.
mm,
So regardless of what medium, regardless of what tools you use, story has to be paramount over everything else because the story that you tell or you're trying to tell is the thing that's going to connect you or not connect you to your viewer or your audience, right?
mhm,
I always tell people this, that our stories are what bring us together and what
mhm,
also pull us apart, right?
mhm,
So story is so powerful, and even if you are a email marketer or you're a digital marketer or whatever else, you still got to figure out interesting ways to present what you have, right? Because you believe in what you have, you believe in the service or the product that you're providing,
mhm.
but you have to wrap it in a way that it seems meaningful for that audience member. And that's why, like, especially for millennials and those that are after the millennial generation, is like they want to feel special, they want to feel like every experience is customized.
Mhm.
So infomercials won't work on them. It just won't work. Like, buy now in 24 hours, that's not going to work, right? What's
Mhm.
going to work is packaging it in a way that seems meaningful for causes that are meaningful, that resonate with that audience, right? So that's
Yeah.
why you see a lot of these new companies where it's like, I just saw a new company like, oh, we make socks and we're so passionate about socks because we believe that everybody should have a great pair of socks. And for every sock that we sell, we're going to make a sock for a child in Africa or wherever, or wherever in
Yeah.
a impoverished community. And it's like there's this sort of link between stories, good causes,
Yeah.
and products and services. And I
Yeah.
think that's a huge opportunity there when it comes to telling stories and why story is so important.
Yeah, you're making me think of these, commercials, like these Asian commercials that I've seen that are like tear jerkers. Like I've literally like started crying watching this like three
Yep.
minute thing, and I'm like, what's going on? Then at the end, it's like, oh, it's a fucking commercial. Like
Yep.
what? Like you're selling me
Yep.
something right now, and I'm crying.
Yep.
I'm like so moved.
But that's what it is, right? That's how
Yeah.
powerful a story can be, right? Like, I mean, some of my favorite commercials are commercials that are made by like Apple or Coca-Cola. Apple had actually one that was amazing,
Oh, Apple. Oh my
just before
gosh. Yeah.
Christmas. And it was an animated short. It was about a minute and a half, and it basically talked about being a creative or showing a creative, like a person that was just doing a normal job, but then they had ideas and they kept putting in this book and they never shared it with the world. Then all of a sudden something happens and the world sees it, and then
Mm,
they see that, wow, like I actually had something that people wanted. So again, but it goes back to telling a story. They weren't saying buy our computers. They were saying think about this. Oh,
yeah.
and by the way, our
Yeah.
computers are here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a different perspective. It's slightly moving your perspective a little bit so that you're still getting to your optimum goal, but you're doing it in a way that feels good for the client.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a question that so in the private Facebook group that I have, there's
Hmm.
I ask them questions before they like become a part of it just to help me understand like who's all in the
Yeah.
group and how I can serve them better. And one of the questions that I asked them is like, how do you want your art to impact the world?
Hmm.
And there's some people that are really just drawing a blank when it comes to that. So I was just wondering, since you are like super into storytelling, it's like, what kind of questions can they
Yeah.
ask themselves to help them dig deeper into like, what is it about their personal journeys that can make it like to add that meaningful element that you were talking about? Like if they were brainstorming for
Yeah.
themselves, like what can they ask themselves?
Yeah. I think the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what am I passionate about? What really truly drives me and makes me tick, right? Because the thing is, I think likes, shares, followers, subscribers, in my opinion, can't be the basis of why you do what you do and why you're passionate about creating, right? Especially if you're creative. Like there's a reason why you became a creative, or you landed in the creative space. You
Mhm,
are really good at visual arts or photography or videography or writing or collaborating and bringing people together, or building and constructing or being articulate. So why is that? Why are you passionate about that? Why are you so good at that? Really dig down and deep, and for a lot of people, it can be just as practical as like, opening up your notes on your iPhone or your Android device and typing out like the three things that you're most passionate about and
mm,
why. Why are you passionate about the creative industry? What are the things that you're really good at? And what are the things you're not really good at, right? Because these are some of the elements that will help shape who you are and your branding and your messaging, right? Because when you know what you're not good at, then
mhm,
then you'll understand what not to focus on. And not to
mhm,
say that you won't ever focus on those weak points, but you may bring on somebody that's strong in that blind spot. And then the things that you are strong in, you can spend more effort and more time focusing on that, and also branding yourself in that area. For instance, like I don't read music. I can't play music. Music is an integral part of me creating my films and my videos and all that sort of stuff, my content.
mhm,
But I don't position myself as a musician or as a composer or as a scorer. I position myself as a digital storyteller or the digital storyteller. The reason for that is because storytelling, you can be a storyteller and be and use that in the culinary arts. You can be a storyteller and you can use that in being in a doctor. Being a doctor, you can be a storyteller and you can be a computer programmer, right? The reason why I use all these extreme examples is because those are just outputs. But the reality is that the core of who you are, which is the core of who I am, is a storyteller. I tell stories. I can use any tool to communicate messages and communicate stories, but it's just a matter of identifying what tool is the most effective to reach my target client. In my case right now, it's digital video or digital media, right? Digital video, digital photography, and graphic design. But in other people's walk and life and journey, you have to identify the tools that you can manipulate the best to render the best results for what you've designed or uh, distinguished yourself to be, right? So again, I distinguish myself to be the digital storyteller. Therefore, I tell stories using digital media, right? It's right inside my title. Maybe for somebody else, it's whatever, the best cook ever. Well, if you're the best cook ever, then you have to do something around the cooking space. Maybe you're cooking up code. I don't know, but again, you have to really start out with what you're passionate with, what you're great at, what you're not great at, and then once you kind of figure that out, then it'll dictate all the other branches coming out of that tree. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Now I'm kinda, like, thinking about it and how I can, like, apply it to me. Um, I've always enjoyed video. I think it's, like, a lot of fun. I'm a YouTuber, and that's how my music career kinda started, so
Dope.
I was kinda just, like, fell into it. Like, I feel like some people yeah, that question of, like, "Where do I start? How do I start?" Is kind of like at least for my experience, I can't speak for everybody. For me, it was
Mhm,
just like I tested and I just played with a bunch of stuff, and then the one I had the most fun with, I find that's actually a one way I govern my life right now. Like people are like,
mhm,
"What? Life can't be like all butterflies and roses and rainbows," and I'm like,
mhm,
"But I can make it like majority of that because I
mhm.
choose to govern my journey of like if I'm having fun, I'm like following my bliss, one of those things, you know? And it's like you sharing your story, I don't feel like it should feel like a chore. Like I feel like it should be something really fun to express. Uh,
I think a part of it too, though, is that you have to also understand or identify what kind of personality you have. Like we seem
gotcha.
like I'm just we're also extroverts, so that helps. You said that you were kind of into music. So were you a music performer as well?
So no, I just really like writing
Okay,
lyrics.
perfect.
So then
Okay,
I started making videos of songs that I wrote, and
okay, perfect.
then people found out about it, and then more people found out about it, and then people asked me to do shows in Toronto, and then I was kinda just, like, back and forth for a long time, and now I
So
actually live
so
in
that's
Toronto.
so that's a perfect example, right? Like I'm my background's in theater acting, right? Theatrical
Cool.
acting. So again, like when you're in front of people, it's a lot easier to kind of navigate. I think if you're, let's say for instance, you know that you're an introvert,
Yeah.
one of the things you need to figure out is like maybe you start out with a podcast, or maybe you start out with like something that's not like a live stream in front of people and people want you to like perform right away. You
Yeah.
figure out smaller things like start a blog,
Yeah.
start, a pre-recorded 5 minute vlog on YouTube, right? Whatever it is, we all have to practice, we all have to prepare, but just finding, like you said before, like, finding out what sticks. Like I always tell people, like when they get into, film or video or photography, they always ask me, well, what do you start with? I'm like, do everything. Like
Mhm.
I've done like weddings to baby bar, to bar mitzvahs, to baby
Yeah.
showers, to maternity, all this sort of stuff. And then I figured out the things I really liked doing and then
Yeah.
branded myself around those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Because I feel like the people who are, like, paralyzed at the beginning, like, "Where do I start?" It's, like, literally just start. Just keep
Yeah.
trying
Just
stuff.
start.
Like,
Yeah.
I keep thinking about this because this is, like, such a common question that I keep getting, and I'm like, I wanna be able to explain this in a way that hits home and, like, really, like, inspires you into action,
Hmm.
but when I really think about it and,
Hmm.
like, think about my journey and how I've been able to, like, accomplish the things I wanted to accomplish, it's like, I just start. Like, I feel like there's no way to, like, spruce it up,
My
really. I'm
my
just
friend my friend, Andrew James, he always says this to me. He's like, "Follow your passion." Like, if you're really passionate, don't don't go into the digital marketing space because it's lucrative. Don't become a
mm,
teacher because, you get good pension. Don't, what I mean? Don't do things just because somebody tells you to do it. Really find out your passion, because listen, if your passion is to be a crocodile hunter or whatever, or like a crocodile specialist, then
yeah,
be that, right?
yeah,
Because that's going to bring fulfillment. Now you're going to have to put in the work because you
yeah.
live in Canada and we don't have crocodiles here. But like the point
But you
of
can
the,
make it
the
happen.
matter is, yeah, you can make it happen, right? So make it happen and go after your passion and
Yeah.
create that sort of reality that you want to see.
Yeah. I love it. Love it. I'm just looking at the time and I do want to delve into, we talked a little bit about it earlier, just of like how
Yeah.
accessible like technology is now.
Yeah.
Um, and so I kind of want to switch gears and kind of go now, okay, what if their mindset is, okay, video is for me. I wanna do
Yep.
video. I really have to
Perfect.
do video. And right now I'm thinking of a conversation I had with a friend who was kind of like, "Oh, dude, like, I think it's so awesome that, you're a YouTuber and blah, blah, blah." It's like, "I wanna start a YouTube channel. I wanna do this and that." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, start." And they were like, "Yeah, but I was doing research and I basically need to, like, buy a whole bunch of equipment. It's gonna be, like, thousands of dollars, and I don't know how to get started because I don't have that
Mhm.
much money to, like, put into starting a YouTube channel. So I don't know, maybe I'll just like figure it out later." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Bro, what's in your pocket? Like,
Yeah.
what do you have right now that can help you like make a video right now and post it on
Yeah.
YouTube?" Chances are you already have what you need. And so I kind of want to segue into like that conversation of like,
Yeah.
you don't really, yeah, okay. You get
I
like with the
no, no,
wavelength I'm on. So I'll let
no,
you take the reins.
I totally get it. I liken it to like, when you're at home and like you have to cook dinner and like you have limited ingredients and then you look in the fridge and you're like, well, yeah, I don't have this and that to make like, the filet mignon that I want. But yeah, but you have like eggs and you have like bacon and you have whatever, lettuce,
Mhm.
and a couple and bread ends,
Yeah.
right? You can make a sandwich, right? Like yes, it may not be the ideal dinner, but it'll be serviceable. It'll service the need that the immediate need that you have right now. And just to your point, Adrian, it's the same thing that I say with people that are ready to do video that feel like, oh man, I don't have the $10,000 camera that Tristan has. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I didn't have the $10,000 when I started. $10,000 camera when I started. I had the whatever I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
I'll never forget one of my professors said to me when I was in school. He was like, "Listen, like if you're really passionate about this, you'll find, beg, borrow, steal whatever you need to get the job done and to do
Yeah.
this if this
Yeah.
is really what you want to do." The reality is that you know as much as as creative as we are in this generation, like we're super creative, we're super passionate about being entrepreneurs and whatever else, we don't always have this stick with itness, you know what I mean, like
Mhm.
the guts to just be like, okay, I'm just going to put myself out there and just
Mm.
do it regardless
Mhm.
of the response, right? Because we have this sort of thing in our mind, okay, we're going to make a video and that video needs to go viral. And if it doesn't go viral, we're a failure. Well, no, we're
Mhm.
actually creating a catalog and we're creating a conversation, a continuous conversation with our target audience, right? So, what I say is, if a person is ready to go into video, the first thing I would say is make a list of the things that you already have. You already have a camera if you have a phone in your pocket and it's not from 1994. So, you know what I mean? You have a camera.
Mhm.
Do you have something to stabilize that camera, like a tripod or a Jobly or whatever, like something that's really, something that's really simple? If you don't, there's a little place around the corner on the web called Amazon. It's
Yeah.
actually quite new, been around for a few years, but I bet you can find something on Amazon,
Yeah,
right?
I've bought so much from Amazon.
Amazon owns. I'm surprised Amazon didn't sell me my house. Okay, that's how much I buy
Yeah, they're probably
things from
getting
Amazon.
there. They're probably gonna
Yeah,
get
they
there.
probably
They're
are,
just gonna sell
right?
everything.
And once you have the tripod, you have the camera, and then also, which is really important, people need to hear you properly. So you
Mm,
need to find some sort of miking mechanism. You don't have to spend a lot for a mic. I had a friend of mine that I just spoke to the other day. He said he bought two lapel mics, which are those small mics that go on your chest area and pick
mhm.
up your voice there, for like $60 or something on Amazon. So again, within the span of, a day, you can go on Amazon, get a couple different items, maybe spend 150, $200, and you're ready to go with
Mhm.
your smartphone in hand, ready to video
That's
save. The
so, like,
next thing, sorry,
mind-blowing,
go ahead.
like, when you just think about that, like, that's so mind-blowing, like, you can have everything
Yeah.
you need to get started under 200 bucks, and, like, the friend of mine I was talking to was, like, thinking he needed to spend, like, thousands and thousands of dollars to get, okay, maybe not thousands and thousands, but
Yeah.
definitely thousands of dollars to, like, just get started, and I'm like, I think it's really, like, shifting your mindset to being more resourceful.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm just gonna share some, like, secrets because I feel like I'm one of the most resourceful people I know. Two stories I'll share actually. One time I was like on this
Okay.
Instagram story and I was like watching it, and my friend, I was like, wow, this video looks so good. The quality looks so good. So I messaged her. I was like, yo, what are you doing for your lighting? Like it looks like blessed. Like it looks great. And she's like, yo, I literally opened up my fridge door and used the light in my fridge. And I was like, oh, okay. And like just like getting really creative. And then I had another friend, like, so before people could be a part of this show, like there was a video on my website um that kind of introduces the show, and then they can like sign up to be a part of it. And I had a friend reach out and just be like, yo, did you film that in a studio? Like it looks so professional. Like what did you do? And I was like, no, I filmed that in my living room in front of a window. So it was complete daylight, like just
Yep.
complete even daylight. So my lighting was free. Daylight is free. I don't know if you guys know that. Um, and then he was like, "Wow, the backdrop,
And
it's
it's
so beautiful."
diffused and it
Yeah,
looks
it's
beautiful.
diffused. It was like a mid
Yep.
cloudy day, so it was kind of like it was so nicely evenly lit. I didn't even have to know the technicalities of color, temperature, and this and that. It was just perfect. um, and then he was like, "Yo, the backdrop, like, is so beautiful. Like, did you go to a studio? This and that." He's like, "Where did you get that?" And I was like, "Honestly, like, my sister bought like these new Minion like bath shower curtains, and so she wanted to get rid of her tree shower curtain, and I was like, "This is a beautiful print." So I literally used a shower curtain as
Yeah.
my backdrop, which was free because my sister just gave it to me, and then it's kinda just getting really creative of how you put things together. And I think that's maybe that's the piece actually that I should have said when I was like, when people don't know where to get started, I think they need to now get curious into why they don't feel like they can get started and get curious about what they can do to get started.
But you know what? Here's the thing I would say. We have to be careful about over analyzing and overthinking things, right?
Okay.
The reason why, in my opinion, I don't produce as much videos as I want to, let's say for my YouTube channel, is because I overthink. And I'll be the first one to tell you I overthink it so much. Some of the most popular YouTube videos that I've created are the ones where I just said, I don't care how my hair looks. I don't care how this back wall looks. I'm going to put up this light. I'm going to put up this mic. I'm going to put up this camera.
Are
I'm
you
going
a
to
rapper?
share
Like, what?
information that I feel is no, I didn't even know.
Imma put up this
But I'm
light.
gonna
Imma
share
put up
current
this mic. Imma do
uh,
this till I get it all right. Okay.
and stop, won't stop. But you know what I mean? Like I think that we need to get out of our own heads and we
Yeah,
need to just
I
like
do.
once you figure out who you are, once you figure out, you know, the what you want to do and kind of defining your brand, do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, you're never going to be perfect. You're going to always be in pursuit of perfection. So as you're creating, you're going to get better. Like imagine if I waited to be dope before I started my business, and providing services to people, I would
Mm.
never get to a place where I would actually make any money or be dope. So
Yeah.
the experience is a part of the perfection process, and it's a part of you really finding your voice and finding out who you are and what your chops are. You know what I mean? So,
Mm.
I mean, I think to your point, yes. Do people need to think about things? Yes, they should think about it. They should plan. Obviously, you should plan. You know, this interview was planned. Questions were planned. Fine, etc., etc. But it shouldn't. You shouldn't be paralyzed by the plan. You should
Mhm.
be freed. The planning is really a place to prepare yourself to have the freedom to really just create.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just my disposition on it. I hope somebody understands what I'm saying. And if you need more clarity, I can definitely clarify
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh man, time goes by so fast when you're having fun. And
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely like I digressed from the plan a little bit when what we were talking about, but it was fun. It's fun. It was we're learning here.
Mm,
We're having fun
yeah.
learning.
Yep.
So I'm looking at the time. We just got a few more minutes left.
Yep.
I wanted to bring up, and you kind of almost segued into it. So awesome. You're making my job easier. About your freebie giveaway that you're giving the audience, which is
Yeah.
your digital storytelling starters kit.
Yeah. So this is a document that I created for individuals that are ready to take that leap into being a digital storyteller or helping them create digital content. So it gives you just really a very fundamental level of information with regards to how to integrate video into your marketing strategy. So, and it's more from a practical standpoint. So it'll show you some of the gear that I use, some of the things that I think would be worthy investments, as well as, you know, how to approach certain things, what to look for, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
And with that as well, I'm looking to invite you into more conversations. So if you do want to get more information with regards to just some of the other ways that we can continue the conversation, then just hit me up. The link will be provided for you. Within that link, it's a booking link. All you have to do is just put in your email address and then the uh, type in freebie, and I'll know what that means,
Or put in TAM.
podcast freebie.
So
Okay,
TAM is
Tam,
like the
yes,
acronym for like Thriving Artist Masterclass. So maybe they could put TAM
perfect.
freebie.
Yeah,
That
so
way
you
it's
so you can
filtered.
do that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can put in Tam, and then if you have any additional questions or comments, I would love to hear them, and I'll definitely respond back and send you that package. And it's super dope. It's a great sort of starting point.
Yeah.
There obviously it's going to require you to do a little bit more research, but it's a great sort of blueprint to get you started on the right path and on the right track.
Yeah. I have additional questions, but I don't have enough time to ask you all these additional questions. But I'm just looking at the time. We do have like maybe like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna throw the ball back into your court and kind of ask
yeah,
you if there's like one final takeaway that you want to leave with the group. You do have 3 minutes. So
yeah. So my final takeaway I would say is, first of all, you can do it. You are amazing at whatever you do. What you need to do is you just need to figure out your passion, figure out your why, figure out your audience, and figure out your voice. And I think if you can do all of those things, you'll be well on your way to being successful. Don't look at the likes, don't look at the algorithms, don't look at the shares, followers, or subscribers. Look at and always remind yourself of why you're doing it and what your audience needs, right? Sometimes they'll tell you, sometimes they won't, but they'll always be there to be able to inspire you. So that's really what I have to say. Other than that, follow me on social media at Tristan Barrocks. I have my YouTube channel, the Digital Storyteller, as well as the Digital Storytellers group on Facebook, and like, share, and follow us on Instagram as well. Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it, and have a wonderful day.
awesome. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, it
Well,
has.
I was thinking of something as you were like giving your final note. It was reminding me of this other interview I did. I did another season of this last year in July.
Okay.
And one of the experts that I had on was saying content is king, engagement is queen. And I think like what you were talking about, where it's like, it's not all about the likes, it's not all about the numbers. It's really all
Hmm.
about the connections that you make. Like to me,
Yes.
like it's the comments and the DMs that like matter the most to me. It's like
Yep.
it's the connecting that's like the most
Yeah.
magical part. So I love that you ended it on that note. So
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I agree. I think that we as a community, the whole reason why we're on social media really is to connect with each other, and the best way to do that is through authenticity.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
And on that note, stay inspired, stay motivated, and stay on your grind because your creative work is a gift that the world needs. I'm Adrienne Lauren. This sums up this masterclass. And well, I guess Tristan, you can quickly say bye if you want.
Hey, later, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Well, it won't, yeah, later, because like go check out his freebie, go send him a message. Um, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next masterclass. This has been so much fun. This is my least favorite part is summing things up. Like I feel like I needed a better spiel, but I just feel like it's one of those like rip the band-aids off kind of situation. So I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off. Okay, bye guys.